Of information not many people might realize that in most of the top Ivy League schools in America, they do not simply take all the applications they receive and put them in order from best to last and just take the top 3,000 and they go to Harvard. If that were the case, the truth being told, most of the kids going to Harvard would come out of private schools in Dubai or in other places like, rich countries where they have 5 kids in a class and teachers make $150,000 a year and kids go to school 11 months a year. They don't do that. In order to make sure there's a pretty broad sample of people in those elite schools, they have 3 groups. They have the master group from best to worst. They have a group of kids from private schools. They have a group of kids from public schools, and they have foreigners. So that in the freshman class, no more than 1/3 will come from private schools. The next third will come from public schools, and the bottom third or another third will come from foreigners. That way, when you walk around the campuses of Harvard or MIT or Stanford or any of those elite schools, you'll notice there are kids who went to $150,000 a year private schools in Boston, and other kids who maybe went to, Canarsie High School, which is public, and they got into Harvard. And maybe another kid who comes from Afghanistan or Israel or Japan. Okay? That's pretty good or that's pretty bad. I'd like to hear your opinion about that, because when I was a kid, we always thought it was the creme de la creme, the best going down. But later on, as I became an adult and got involved in this, I realized that, that wouldn't be fair because, money can get by education. Okay? It would mean that those parents who have the most amount of money would get their kids into Harvard. And if you don't have that kind of money, you don't get in. Okay, it is true that fewer kids in a class, better grades. It is true. There's no need to debate it. It is also true that many public schools with 30 kids are getting kids into Harvard. Okay, but the majority of those super high SAT scores are coming from, I mentioned before, Dubai and 6 or 7 private schools in the United States that charge about $150,000 a year per kid. They're getting really super SAT scores. And if you only take the best, regardless of public or private, Harvard will become a university, or Yale or Princeton, of just kids whose parents have a lot of money. That'll be it. Those kids will get the best universities in the country. Anyway, I'd like to hear your opinion about that now that you know the secret of what's really going on in those schools. Now you know why when you walk around Stanford or Yale or William and Mary or Brown or Columbia, there's that kid from that very expensive private school sitting right next door to a kid maybe from South Shore High School or Hernando High School in Brooksville, Florida, right next to him. And you wonder, how did these 2 kids get together? Well, now you know why.